We're back from EYB. It's been probably 2 weeks since the event, and I haven't really done anything with the car. I just brought it in here, brought all my crap in here, and threw it on the ground. But it is now time to start thinking about what I need to do next. And what I need to do next is, sadly, I need to do the rack relocation, because the steering rack is a rear-mounted rack, and it doesn't sit in a good spot. So, I mean, you're not going to be able to see shit, but let's see. You got the tie rod right there, the silver thing, this, and it goes down there, and then you have a rack spacer, and then it goes back. So basically, the pressure that is put on the rack is not in a straight line. It's offset because of the offset rack spacer, because you can't have a straight line with it being a rear-mounted rack and having as much angle as I do. And that causes a lot of excessive wear on the rack and can cause it to break early, essentially. Eventually you will go through it because it's drifting, and that's just one of the parts that is going to break and start leaking and be a problem. But whenever you have the offset rack spacers, that pressure is just coming at a weird angle, and it just wears it out real quick. So I've done 2 events with it on, and I don't really think my rack is in good shape to begin with, because I have seen a little bit of leaking since I got it. So I want to go ahead and get this over with, and so then, you know, it can last a little bit longer before I have to get a new one. But this is a whole damn project. I had to buy this, which is just an undercar, not hoist, what do you call this? Undercar jack or whatever. It'll hold the motor up with a little bit extra strength, because I got this top holding bar that you mount right here, and then I'll put ratchet straps going down to the motor mounts, and it'll hold it up. That way, whenever I drop the subframe, the whole engine won't just drop on top of me and kill me. So, definitely need that. But it's a lot. There's a lot to do. I got to take off a whole bunch of bullshit and then drop the subframe. I have to actually cut the subframe and put this on top of it. Not on top of it, on the bottom of it. And then I can take the rack and I can move it forward, and it'll sit in between these things, and it'll be perfectly in line with the angle that I have on the car, and I won't have to worry about it. And then I'll be able to take off the rack spacers and put on the new tie rods that are longer, and it'll be great. So there'll be a little bit of a difference driving wise, but it's not something crazy. It's just whenever I go to full lock, it won't try to stay there. Like, it won't get stuck at full lock. So that'll be nice. I won't have to worry about that. I'm hoping I can knock most of this out in the next couple of days, but we'll see. I always think everything's going to go fast, but then it doesn't. I have to take the suspension off again, which really sucks, because I hated messing with it the first time. But this will be a good chance to realign my steering rack, make sure everything, that the tie rods are the same space on either side, and now my steering won't be like all the way to the side in order to drive straight. That's something I've been wanting to fix for the past couple months, and I just never did. So, you know, also I'll be putting on a new oil pan. It'll be an active baffled oil pan. So I'll get a little more oil in there, and then it also has active baffling, so the oil will stay in the middle where the actual pump is, so when I'm going side to side, it's not possibly getting starved. So that's just another little thing to help, you know, make sure that this car isn't going to blow up anytime soon. I think that's it. There's a couple other things I'm going to do. I'm going to do new motor mounts, and that'll be good. And then I got a bunch of other goodies for a totally different video that is going to be probably a month or two from now, probably after the next event, depending on when the next event is. I think this is really the only thing I'm doing before the next event. Unless we have like 2 months, then I'll probably go into my little other goodies that I bought a couple weeks ago. So excited for that one. That'll definitely be a new experience messing with that stuff. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, we got the engine supported. It really doesn't have any spots on it where you can put a chain to chain it up. So what you have to do is take all the filter bullshit off to make space, and you put straps going down to, I don't know if you can see it. No, I'm gonna have to crawl under, but it goes around the motor mount spot, and that's how you support it. Also, I got these straps going back here and tied onto my hood because I really didn't like how much this thing was kind of like wiggling back and forth. And the last thing I need is to drop the subframe and then this whole thing fucking tilts forward and the engine drops like a foot. So I got this pulling back on it and it's not fucking moving at all. Let's see if we can get under here. Oh, it's been a while since I've had to get under my car like this, like actually like on the floor. Let's see if you can see this. So here's the motor mounts right here. And you can see the straps are actually, they're going like whoop, up kind of where it connects. There's a little piece that goes right there that bolts into. And that's where I have it going around on each side. I've got a little jack there to just be safe. Yeah, I mean, that should be everything I need. Tomorrow I can start working on the actual, like, taking the wheels off and the suspension off and dropping the subframe and maybe even cutting it. Possibly. I did the annoying part, which is doing all that shit. So now it's just the actual work. I say this is annoying, but this is probably the easiest thing I'm gonna do in this whole damn project is putting these fucking straps on this thing. Okay, it's the next day. I am a couple hours into it. It's doing fine so far. Not many hiccups. These two lines disconnected from the steering rack and drained all the fluid. Got the rack spacers and the inner tie rod and the outer tie rod all off. So then we can start disconnecting the suspension from the subframe. I actually do have the suspension pretty much totally off on this side. It really wasn't that hard. You know, much easier than putting it on, that's for sure. So I got a couple of zip ties just holding this up a little bit. I did have to undo the coilover from it just to get that pressure so then I could get this thing out of there. Yeah, there's just a couple more things that need to be done. I have to disconnect the steering rod thing right here so it doesn't try to pull that all down. I got a couple of lines that stay on it. I think on this side you got these lines that are bolted to the subframe that need to be taken off, and I think at that point then there's just, you know, there's not too much left to do. You just gotta undo that and do the couple of bolts in the front that holds that up in there, and then you can take the bolts off the subframe and start dropping it. Okay, the power steering rack is on the ground. It's out. It's kind of a pain in the ass. This thing, where the steering rod, whatever the hell, connects in, you're supposed to be able to take this bolt out and get it off of here. But I really couldn't see a way to do it, and the video didn't really show that extensively. So I just took the next one down and pried up under here against it until it came off the steering rack. Yeah, suspension is all in the shambles, being held up by random fucking zip ties and other shit. And I did that so that I wouldn't have to completely disassemble it, but it might be too hard to get back on in this kind of way. So I might have to just, you know, take it off of all the different things anyway, so might have been pointless. But yeah, now it's time to start getting ready to drop the subframe. And then we'll be in business. Subframe is out of the car. It really wasn't that bad. I like misunderstood how the motor mounts were with this, so I was like really scared of this dropping, but I didn't realize it was a bolt coming all the way down from up here for the motor mounts. So that makes me happy. It wasn't that hard. Just you know, propped it up with the trans jack and took out the 6 bolts holding it in, and then, you know, just slowly lowered it down and wiggled it around, make sure it was coming off all the different spots, and it turned out pretty good. So now we just gotta, I guess we gotta take this plate off and then start marking where we gotta cut. Grab a Sawzall or a bandsaw or something and, you know, get to work. Oh, one more thing. Do you know how fucking easy it would be to switch out the headers and the cats right now? How damn easy would that be? Look, there's nothing in the way. There's absolutely nothing in the way. So I might do a little research and see if there's something within my preference and budget that I could install, preferably long tube. These long tubes are the ones that are difficult, but in this sort of situation, it would be ridiculously easy to do something like long tubes. And I mean, when I'm never gonna have the subframe out of the car again. So this is really, if I'm gonna do something like this, it's gotta happen. So, you know, this might turn into a little extra project, but we'll see. Gotta do some research. Okay, this is it. It's cut. It's the whole reason we're doing this. Subframe is cut. The different spots that they showed have been grinded down. Right there, right here, right there, right there. And everything should have clearance and fit good. It seems like this thing's a little bit warped left and right, like it's bowing up a little bit on the edges. But once I bolt everything down, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm done for the day. Because I got to do some research and see if I want to put the manifold and cats on or not. Because if I do, then there's only a couple of things left I have to do before I have to stop and wait for the exhaust stuff to come in to replace. So I guess it's break time, free time, research time. Yep.